I'm travelling over the next 12-week period to 13 cities, although that number keeps growing as I meet people. That's over 6 countries, and I've decided to live solely on cryptocurrency for that period.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and we have a very special guest today on the channel with us. We have Jaide all the way from Australia, and she is a blockchain and crypto enthusiast. She was at Hong Kong Token 2049 conference, and so today we're going to talk to Jaide and find out what is it that brings her into the space, blockchain and crypto space. How is she excited about it? And what's her thinking all over. So thank you so much, Jaide. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks, Shiv. Thank you so much for inviting me on your channel.
Amazing. So I saw your pictures wherein you did go to the conference, which was Token 2049. I'm sure that you have met these important people in the space, namely Vitalik Buterin and Tron, Justin Sun, and all those guys. I do want to talk about the experience that you had, and if you could share a few things that would be valuable to everyone. Actually, what exactly, because this was a pretty huge conference, so what exactly is going on, your perception. But before we begin, before we talk about that, would you like to sort of introduce yourself to everyone who might not know you, and what exactly are you doing, contributing to this space?
Yep, sure. Well, as you said, I'm definitely a crypto and blockchain enthusiast. I started investing in crypto 2017, and didn't really, I guess, I wasn't as involved then. It was just more a speculative purchase. Got involved luckily before the bull run, and I guess I definitely experienced the FOMO. But I just wanted to learn more. Because I just, it's such a huge opportunity, blockchain technology.
Yeah.
It's really changing the world, and it's at the very early stages. So just after recognizing that and recognizing that it's actually changing every single industry, it's pretty amazing. Just, I guess, our generation, the impact we can have by actually experiencing the technology evolve. So, it's very overwhelming, and I just made the decision earlier this year that I wanted to learn more, and to do that I started attending conferences. So my first one was London Blockchain Week, which was last month, and I just got home from Hong Kong 2 nights ago, where I attended Token 2049 as well as Hong Kong Blockchain Week.
Wow.
So it's just been like I've been overwhelmed and filled with information to process over the last 6 weeks.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because as the news came out like yesterday that even the Visa is hiring for people who can work on the crypto technologies. So it's quite clear that it's quite evident that some of the top companies around the world are getting into the space, and like you rightly said, this is going to change the world for better. So which is very exciting.
And absolutely right.
And we're so glad to be here at a very early stage. I think it's just the beginning of it.
It's interesting, and I think finance in particular, it's definitely had the most impact, or the most publicized impact on that industry. As you said, with huge names, Visa, and then JP Morgan coming out with their token. You've got huge advocates in the space, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, and it's sort of people that are getting interviewed, talking about the future of it, and really backing the technology. And then it's interesting to hear people say, I think the majority of people compare it to 1992 of the dot-com era. So that's pretty crazy if you think about going back in time to 92 and knowing where that went, to the potential of where both crypto and blockchain could go.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So tell us what really, I mean, so you just attended the Hong Kong 2049, right? So what are the kind of development that you see, and what are the kind of conversation that you observed there Would you like to share your experience on, what you observe at the conference?
Yeah, sure. I think when it comes to the finance sector and crypto, there's a lot of talk about regulation, and that's the
Yeah,
same. Anytime you're going to Google it or you're going to read articles at the moment, that's probably the hot topic.
yeah,
And as we know, that could be any time this year that it's determined what asset class cryptocurrency falls within
right.
and who's going to regulate it. So are the United States going to take control and really grab the industry, which I believe they will? Or is it going to take longer? Are we going to have more hurdles? And so just from what people are saying, regulation is key,
Mm-hmm.
and teaming that with, companies like Backed potentially launching at any date now, and some other big players, I think that's when we're really going to see some changes in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was interesting because obviously it's not just finance related. So some really interesting things happening with artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
also with pharmaceutical as well. And what I really took away from Hong Kong Blockchain Week in particular was one lady talking about using blockchain technology to actually track medication.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people around the world that are victims of fraudulent medication, and they're getting even
Yeah.
more and more sick. And it's a disgrace that even happens. But being able to track medication and making sure that people are actually getting the correct dosages and it's not being tampered with or played with, that's pretty amazing. So I think it definitely goes across a few industries, and this is seriously just the tiniest amount of information. It's just, like I said, there's so much to process after it, and I'm still going through my notes and clearing my head.
Yeah.
We had a lot of parties and after events, so anything we learned was sort of, you go out that night and you're partying. So I'm still really catching up.
Absolutely. So a lot of So from my experience, what I observe is when you go to the conferences like this, you have a lot of networking that happens. You meet some amazing, great people, having different
Yeah.
perspective, having different ideas. So there is a lot of knowledge sharing and learning that happens, which is amazing. And so you rightly mentioned something about regulations has been a key topic among various countries. For example, to talk about India, India is in a
Yeah.
very interesting situation right now. So India, we have the banking system in India. They do not allow a crypto firm to have a bank account. So for a
Okay.
so a crypto exchange, we can't have a bank account. So that's the scenario, which is really bad, to be honest, because I don't think any other country which does not allow the crypto companies to have a bank account apart from India. So which is really bad. But I think the regulations. There's a lot of work going on for the regulations. So I mean, there is a draft being made, and hopefully we see some kind of regulations in India. So that's quite interesting in terms of regulations. And I also think that since it's a new technology, the policymakers, the regulators have to have a different view, because you can't treat these assets, the blockchain asset, the crypto asset, the way you're treating the other things, right? It has to be
Yeah, for sure.
a new set of
It's its
rules.
own asset class. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's awesome. And also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you go through a 12 weeks of crypto challenge?
Oh, yeah. So we haven't even touched on that. So because I'm not working at the moment and I'm really just focusing on attending conferences and learning as much as possible. And as you said, networking, and I'm doing that. I'm meeting some great people and getting really good advice and
Yeah.
meeting people that I will meet up with again at other conferences. I decided to start writing and blogging, and it was really to help me learn more,
Yeah.
because I just know myself, I Google a lot of things and I watch things on YouTube, but the most effective way has actually been to research and then create an article and post it, because I test myself that way with the reaction
Yeah.
I get.
Yeah.
You have to really research it properly. And So I started with just a couple of little articles, which was helping me clear my own mind and work out what was what. And then I just randomly came up with this idea where I decided to live purely on cryptocurrency for 12 weeks. I post it on Instagram, which is my main source of keeping people up to date. And I announced to everyone, I'm going to start in 2 days' time. And the reason I chose 12 weeks and I chose my start date was because I was going to be visiting 6 countries within that 12-week period. So I thought, okay, well, this will make it more interesting and challenging. I'm not just going to be in the one place and continuing to just go to the same place over and over where it'll get boring. So yeah, I just sort of ran with that without thinking or organizing or really doing any other prep. And it was really well received because I think people realized this girl's an idiot. Does she even know what she's doing? Particularly, when my first 2 countries were Hong Kong and China, like they were hard. So I'm 2.5 months in. Sorry, I'm 2.5 weeks in. And so literally cannot use cash, cannot use credit card, just need to get really creative and work out ways of how to get by only on crypto.
Wow. So 12 weeks purely on crypto. You are not going to be using fiat at all. And so if you want to buy anything, maybe a chocolate or any groceries, it has to be crypto, yeah?
Yeah, it does. And it's really, really hard because I know personally, I just don't think about when I'm spending money anymore. It's just, I just, if I really added it up, which I realized in my first weekend, I'm in a different shop maybe 10 times a day just buying whatever, a chocolate bar, coffee, groceries, this. Don't even think about it. It's just tap, tap, tap. And so it really makes you think about what you're spending and it makes you miss just your day-to-day essentials. And I found in Hong Kong, taxis was by far the hardest part. And, I had to wear flats around everywhere, had to think about where I was going out. If there was a party too far away, I just wouldn't go. It was too hard. So it made me a little bit more antisocial on that trip as well because I just couldn't go everywhere. But, people were also very generous and people were buying me lots of drinks. And because there was an event on every night, a lot of the drinks were included, a lot of the food was included. So I guess even though Hong Kong was hard, it was easy in that respect. I guess one of the little things I worked out was people were, buying me a lot of stuff. So then, for example, a couple of times I went out for dinner and paid for friends. So I would pay with crypto and then they could buy me something later. So we got around it that way. Even though that's not the idea, the idea is to spread awareness, discover more places that are accepting it. And once I do discover them, rewarding that business by promoting them. So putting them out on my Instagram and writing about them on my blog. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to get by. And so in those instances, it was, tit for tat sort of thing with friends.
So you're 2.5 weeks into it. There are still about 10 weeks to go, 9.5 weeks to go. And how is it in Australia? Because you're there right now. And also, do you think you'll be able to manage 12 weeks? I
think I'm through the hard part. Well, I'm really hoping I'm through the hard part. So, so 2.5 weeks in Australia, I live in a city called Gold Coast. It's only 500,000 people and it's not a capital. So there's not a lot of places. So I'm actually going out tomorrow and it's just about being organized. I've got some places, I've already phoned them to double check. They definitely still accept crypto because that's what I learned in Hong Kong. There are places that advertise it that don't. I've kind of got a bit of a list of places where I'm going tomorrow. So the one thing I still haven't figured out is how I'm going to fill my car up with petrol because I'm running low and I haven't found a petrol station that accepts it. So that could be a bit of a challenge soon within the next week, I'd say. And then since I started, like I said, it was well received and people liked the idea. And so when I was at Hong Kong Blockchain Week, I had some people that said, oh, you should bring this to Tokyo, you should bring this to Seoul, it would do really well here. So the list has grown, and I don't even know how many countries I'm going to in the next 9 weeks, to be honest.
Okay.
I think the total list might end up being 12 countries in 12 weeks.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Makes it even more interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Hong Kong and China were going to be the hardest parts.
Yeah, but you're already in Hong Kong, so right? And you're already
done Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I'm back in Australia right now.
Yeah. And what are the other countries would you like to tell us, like a few countries named that
sure.
you're Australia?
Okay, so Japan, Korea, Singapore, Indonesia, America, Brazil, and then the ones that are not yet confirmed are Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand.
Wow, lovely. So are you buying the flight tickets with Expedia because they accept crypto?
A lot of my flights were pre-purchased, but now that my plans have changed, yeah, I do have to get some, and I need to get onto it because I'm planning on going to Tokyo and Seoul next week. It'll be Expedia, or also someone told me about Trevolo. There's a company in Brisbane called Travel by Bit as well, and I'm going to contact them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just about, I literally just need to sit down in front of my computer for a day and blast out some emails, call people, get in touch and sort it all out. But the idea is when I do book all these flights and accommodation and fill my car up with petrol and get my first lot of groceries, is that I will share this on my blog. Yeah. And I'll include, websites, and I'll categorize it all by country so that anybody else who wants to join in on this, maybe not for 12 weeks, but for a week or so, can actually use my blog and use the ideas and start paying with crypto as well.
Yeah. No,
particularly, I guess, particularly while we don't have much price movement at the moment. So it would be tough doing this if we were having a lot of upwards movement, I wouldn't be as keen to do it. But right now it's not making too much of a difference. But the idea is I will continue buying more crypto along the 12-week period.
No, it's amazing because you see, somebody like you really want the crypto to be mainstream and want crypto to be adopted because it's not easy. Like I said, it's challenging, but at the same time, the inspiration behind it, the motivation behind it, to let people know that this is possible, and this is what is coming, and this is why you need it. So it's a great initiative. Hats off to you. I'm a big fan already of yours.
Thank you.
Because,
Thanks.
I'm sure because I'm sure the Cointelegraph and the CoinDesk and the news these news media is going to come out to you, reach out to you, and share your experience with them, because this is really amazing to be on 12 weeks on crypto.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, it's actually been really fun telling people about it and doing these little interviews, and my blog last night I turned it into a video blog, and this is all really new to me, so I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So I'll be interested just to see where this challenge goes and what I might do in the space afterwards. So it's exciting not knowing.
Oh yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Great. So that's awesome. So anything you want to share, Jade, before we wrap up? For example, where can people find out more about you, like your blog, a few links that I can paste in the description?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, my main way of communicating with people is through Instagram. Mm-hmm. So you've obviously got my my handle already. So I don't know if you want to include that below. And also I created, I hadn't even planned it. I did it at the end of week 1 of this challenge, I did a website.
Right.
It's www.12 as in 12wcc.com. So people can go there. I'm posting videos there. I'm posting written blogs, and I'm starting a directory there as well, so that I'll have all the countries listed where people can click into them and see where they can go.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have a contact page, and actually all my other social media links, because I am on a lot of other social media if people want to get in touch on Telegram or whatever else.
Yeah, please. I would link them below. And also it helps because for example, let's say you are in Singapore, and maybe some people watching this video in Singapore, and probably they can get in touch with you and they can help you stay on your challenge, crypto challenge.
Yeah. I would love that. Yeah, if people want to reach out, and like I do want to make the blog interesting, so I want to try other things other than just restaurants and cafes. But if there's anywhere else that would be fun to include, definitely get in touch, because I am visiting a lot of countries, and it's about meeting people and sharing the experience, and every week having different people join the blog and come along with me on the adventure, really.
Yeah. And that's amazing, Jaide. So I think it was great having you. It was great listening to you, and it was great knowing about this challenge that you have taken up, a crypto challenge, which is amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time. And
thanks for having me.
Amazing. And I look forward to have you soon. Once you have completed your challenge, and probably share your experience. How was it? And let's keep in touch.
Great idea. That sounds really good. Thank you so much, Shiv, and have a great day.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.